pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley.
Here.
Trustee Malinsky.
Here.
Trustee Connor.
Here.
Mayor McFetrich.
Here. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 9th, 2022 meeting?
So moved.
And a second? Second. Any corrections? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And an approval for the minutes of the May 26th meeting? So moved. And a second?
Okay.
Any corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Presentation of petitions, communications, and general question period for members of the community. I'm so happy to see all of you here. So I'm looking for your input now. This is the time you can address the board, and however you want to do that.
So we're trying to come up with ideas that appeals to everyone. We did have an idea of maybe putting up the soccer nets in that field again and then putting up a volleyball net maybe would be cool.
When you say that field, which one are you thinking of?
I feel like we've put soccer nets behind the what's it, like
The
the
pavilion?
yeah, like we're
At the
like behind
playground?
behind the
Yeah,
playground. There's
we
like
did
that
have
big
some
open
small,
field.
we had some small soccer nets in there.
Mhm.
So you're thinking regulation size?
Maybe regulation size would be good.
Okay. Okay. And we do have a volleyball net that hasn't been put in, and we were thinking we would put it in Bill Earl Park, which is the one along the river,
Yeah.
on the other side. What do you think?
Yeah.
You think it'd get used there?
As long as it's not too close to the water, because I know that one of the problems with the disc golf is that some of them
We're
are
throwing
so
them, yeah.
close to the river that if you
Throw 'em in the
miss,
river.
Oh yeah, I can't play, I just throw it in the dirt and I just keep moving forward, I can't.
so yeah, just as long as, it would be like far
It would
enough
be
away.
on
It's on the opposite side.
Yeah.
opposite side, and it's between the two houses, that's village property. I don't know if you can picture that.
I can,
Yeah, that's where it would be.
Because it's more like a parking lot further down from there, correct?
Yeah, the
it's
parking
like
lot's
gravel,
further down, yeah, so it's way up from that, yeah.
And we have horseshoe pits over there too.
Yeah, we do have horseshoe
Right.
pits there,
Sunset.
yeah, those are great ideas. Just jotting that down. Do you have other ideas, or like maybe activities, or?
Well, I know you have this food truck coming, the food truck, the 21st, where they're
In
coming.
the town, yes.
In the town.
Yeah,
But I was wondering if maybe over the summer have them again, but have it more like advertised better, because I catch this stuff on Facebook and not everybody's on Facebook, so it's sometimes, like the first one I actually missed. But if it would maybe be on a weekend or an evening and then try to gear it towards kids, maybe have some music or some activities for the children to participate, not just go get a burger, but
yeah, so those are all being run through the town of Champlain. I mean, I'm very happy to talk to the town supervisor and see if maybe they're thinking about some music to add to it, or better communication on when they're coming. But they're organizing all of that. But I think those are great ideas. And we could maybe look into a food truck here. I don't know, I hear they're hard to get, but
Yeah.
have one come into the village.
It's pretty tight up though.
Versus the town, maybe.
so the one on the
Kind of.
21st is the town's.
Is the town.
It's the
And
town's doing all of that.
Where is it? Because I went on the website, the Village of Champlain's website, and I clicked on more information, and there was no more information. So it doesn't even say on the website where.
It would have been on the town was the one that.
It's in the
shared
town
it.
parking lot.
Yeah, they're in the
The
town
town
parking lot.
office.
That's
You
what
know,
it was
the
the
town's
first
just
one.
a mile
It's
down.
a-
I think that's where they're going, I think that's where they're holding them.
The 21st of,
This
June.
one.
There's another one, that's a barbecue or something, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Lightning
Lardy's or something.
So is Mr. Dingland gonna be there too, or just?
I don't
Oh,
know.
oh, okay.
I don't know. I just see, I see the ads like you do. But what do you think the reception would be if we try to get some in the village? I mean, we're small here, but
What about on the nights you have with the concerts.
Yeah, we have the 2 concerts.
We can try to
We can
get
try and see
something,
if
Yeah.
something
something
can come
out.
there one of those nights.
Yeah, we have,
That's
2
on River
concerts
Street.
scheduled in the summer, it'd be kind of fun to have a food truck at those.
Yeah, and again, ice cream too, I know that Mr. Dingling was struggling, because they did a GoFundMe, I believe,
Well, there was a windshield, I think,
or
or
there
one
was
of the windows
something.
broke, yeah, so they needed to replace it. And community chipped in and raised some
Somebody
money for
just had a
that.
party, they advertised
Yep.
that,
He does parties.
he was there.
Didn't Michelle Kaye have Mr. Dingling on River Street or something, or was
No,
that?
he just went out one
He
night
just
and
had
he just
had him
took a
yesterday
ride
for
through
Oh,
to the
since
village.
somebody,
So he does it on his own, just to get out and about, but
I know you can request
we
it
can,
though.
yeah.
that would be
He's
good,
easy to
that would be
contact
good if
too.
we did our, on our concert, yeah.
Okay, those are all great ideas.
Are there any grants available for something I would be able to build in the village?
Possibly, yeah. What, do you have an idea of what you'd like to build, or?
I mean, not really, I just didn't know if there was anything like,
You had mentioned the last board meeting that we went to, that there was a grant for an outdoor classroom?
That I got, so I got 2 grants for the outdoor classroom. That'll be done by the community garden. We got $650 from Stewart's and $2,500 from Robert Wood. And so far, we've purchased 2 raised beds, and Nikki and I are going to put together some classes on gardening, and then we're going to create, I don't know exactly how we're gonna do it, we're looking for input, so if you'd like to be involved. We're gonna put some kind of, we thought maybe stumps as seats, and I'm looking for ideas.
yeah, it seems
So,
cool. I
Yeah,
like that idea.
yeah, so that, we do have some money for that. But do you have other ideas of what you'd like to see?
I mean, not at the moment, do you have ideas?
But when these things are built too, there are, children in the community that are looking for community service hours for National Honor Society. I know that they have one friend that actually had talked to David about coming to Cub Scout meetings, cause he's a youth leader for Cub Scouts. Oh, I thought it was Alex, that's what I didn't know. Didn't wanna mention any names, but Holly. But I know that they are, some of the kids are even looking for.
Yep, and
Yeah, I'd definitely be willing to help build that, since.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be,
We're always looking
real, I
for
mean, not only would it be helpful, but your input's gonna be really valuable,
Yes.
because you have a better sense of what would be appreciated, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that would be great, and other things too, for that matter, you know. Even activities, maybe not things that we're gonna build, but activities, what kind of activities would people like?
You mentioned something in the car.
So, I was thinking of like different activities, like you could host stuff to kind of like keep like stuff going on. So maybe like a sports tournament, like with the balls that they have at the park, you could do like a soccer tournament and like make like the teams fair, and like you can make it so in order to get a goal, everyone has to kick the ball once to make sure like no one's really excluded. And then you could also have like water gun fights on hot days, because I figured water balloons wouldn't be as good since you'd leave like the balloon on the ground.
Yeah, that sounds like fun, yeah,
And water guns can be reusable.
yeah.
I've always thought the community needed a youth center of some sort, especially during the summer months. Like the
Yeah.
building across the street, the town, build, what is that, the house across the street? Could you have some kind of a youth center for kids, like they're playing basketball across the street and all this? What?
They're smiling at me because I own that building.
Oh! Janet, can you make a youth center for the kids?
I
Video
tried.
games, they could get, I've got a foosball table I donate, all these different things.
Yeah, that, there's not enough room there,
Yeah,
although
there's not
that
a lot
building
of room.
does get really good use.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of things going on there, but, and the
Someone
scouts
would
use
give the
it.
kids a place to go and get off the streets.
Yeah, I know, I wish we had
The thing
space.
with, we used to when I was a teenager, we had a youth center, but it was manned with supervision when it was open. And so you would not only have to find a place, you'd have to find individuals that are willing to supervise. The one that I was involved in was the CYO, and our priest, Father Blow, who was very, very young, was very much into the youth basketball, cheerleading, and we had a very active group. But again, you need a lot of supervision to man a place like that.
Were those held at the church, at the
So
school?
so where our youth center is actually the old church on Church Street, that's now all apartments.
Oh, okay,
So you're going back late 70s?
okay.
20 years, yes, 20 years ago.
What about the old VFW? They're trying to do a lot of stuff there.
It's true.
You mean the Legion?
Or the American Legion, excuse me.
Yeah, that's true. There's a new owner of the old Legion who is, looking to host more things for
Oh,
community.
there you go.
And she's really willing to
In the
try
library,
things.
with across the street from the bike path.
Yeah, right where the
Oh,
bike
okay, I
path
know,
is,
what
yeah.
it is. Girl Scouts used to
Yeah.
meet
She
there.
does have a calendar of activities, and it's just come if you can kind of thing.
Mhm.
Who's the
Who-
Sue-
Susan Billow.
Sue Billow.
Yeah. But that would be a good place, I would think, to start.
Yeah.
And she's very open to ideas.
I mean, it might help her to have a little bit more activity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, she would like some community input for sure. Really nice lady. So maybe I could introduce you to her, you know, some ideas. Anything else? You've given us a lot of great ideas. And I really thank you for coming to these meetings and sharing that with us. It's really helpful. Jennifer, you wanna
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about?
okay, so I moved in the little gray house across the street 6 years ago, and one of the reasons I bought in the village is because I enjoy walking, and I've had dogs for 25 years and I love to walk. Recently, it's gotten worse and worse where it's dangerous to walk in the village, quite frankly. I've had 3 separate incidents in the last few months. Over the 6 years, it's happened to me more than I'd like to mention. One time was I was walking down South Street, and there's 2 dogs that are chained up, and they're all very scary. And I was on the opposite side of the street, and the one came untied and lunged at me and my dogs. And of course, then my dog screams, and it's terrifying, and I think something's gonna happen. Luckily, there was no blood loss, nobody got hurt, but I did call animal control because it scared me to death. Because you should be able to walk down the street without this stuff happening. The second time was when I was walking on Spruce Street, and somebody had an invisible fence, and their 150-pound Rottweiler came right at me, broke through their fence, and scared me again to death. I'm screaming, control your animal, and I'm terrified because I think I'm going to be attacked, right? And then the third time was just 2 weeks ago when my dog was actually attacked over on South Street. Went to court, everything else, and now the dog has to be confined to a kennel. It bit my dog needed stitches, go to the vet. Now my dog is actually exhibiting behavior that I don't really like because she's scared. I am actually scared to go walk in this village right now. I've been told by one person I should carry a club, and I've looked into tasers, and that is not right. We should be able to walk in town without this fear. And so I'm proposing a few changes to the town dog control laws, maybe to prevent these things from happening. And the first one I want to propose is that in Albany, it's a city law that dogs cannot be chained more than 3 hours at one time. I feel like that's a reasonable law, just for people to put their dog out and then bring it in when, it's done its business. They don't need to have it chained out all day. That would have stopped the incident on South Street where the dog lunged at me. I feel like they're out there too much. Dogs, I have number 2. Dogs confined to a residential property by an electric fence. It should not be within 10 feet of a sidewalk, I feel like. They should have to have it back so that a dog cannot cross over and scare you to death. Some towns have that as a law already, that it can't come within 10 feet of a sidewalk or a road. I also feel like if a dog is tethered, it shouldn't come up to 10 feet by a sidewalk. I think that's pretty reasonable. It's gonna lunge at you when it pulls on the chain. Some towns require them to have a small warning sign, and it could either be purchased by the owner or it could be purchased through the town, like they could get a permit in order to get an invisible, I've got an invisible, I don't have one. I'm saying if I have an invisible fence, I need to apply for a permit just like they would when they have a fire pit in town. They come out, they make sure it's not 10 feet from a sidewalk, they issue them a permit, and then they have to have a little sign that says, area protected by an invisible fence. I think that's a reasonable ask. There's a house that's up on, when you go up past the funeral home, what street is that?
Oak Street.
Oak Street. They so kindly have an invisible fence sign, and in fact, their invisible fence is set back. And that's just like, helps people walking by feel safe, that when a dog is lunging at them, it's gonna be stopped by an invisible fence, hopefully. I hate those invisible fences, quite frankly, I'd ban them if I could, but that's not my role, so, I don't feel like they're effective in stopping an animal that's on the run, I just don't. I also propose that dogs that are deemed dangerous not be allowed on an electric fence. That incident on South Street where my dog was attacked, that dog had had multiple bites already, reported to animal control, and they allowed it on an electric fence, both of them. They have a Rottweiler and a Bull Mastiff, and that's the one that bit me. And it should not have been on an invisible fence, I don't believe. And now it's not allowed on an invisible fence per Judge Triller, so. And then, and I feel like if these were put in place, I think they're simple. If people are not following them, when we have an incident, they could be used to prosecute somebody if they bite somebody's dog or a person when we're walking by. I just wanna feel safer in the neighborhood. I don't feel like I'm asking for a lot. That's that.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions of Jennifer?
Well, I think, it's nice that if we can add to the code. The problem is enforcement. I mean, that's one of the big things. And how do you determine that a dog was out 3 hours? I mean,
I'm not saying like you call because it's
Right.
out 3 hours, but maybe it would stop people a little bit from having a dog out forever, you know?
honestly,
It's-
it probably
it's-
wouldn't, but,
It's actually, it's an animal cruelty law in the state of New York.
yeah.
Didn't
So-
we just
I don't
change that
disagree
on
with you, but I'm
January
just saying
first,
it's
that you
tough
can't
to
keep your dog
enforce.
out?
I'm not sure,
I
but
thought that there was a law that was just passed about keeping a dog tethered for any period of time.
I think you may be right.
I read it somewhere.
if it's a state law, then it could be reinforced as a town law, you know?
So the villages, dog control is handled through the town.
Right, and I'm attending their meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah.
They said to come here too, so.
Right. No, I'm glad you're here, and you know I walk my dog too, and I've had very, very similar experiences with the same dogs. And the municipality that issues the licenses is the one that hires the dog control officer, so that's the town. So that, and then we share that officer with the village. I think we're all open to looking at this, and I think you've made some good suggestions. We do have a copy of our current dog laws, but primarily it's controlled through the ag and markets at the state level. They're the ones that have all the laws and all of the violations and consequences. And so that's really what dictates the laws for us. And we are going to talk about it later on the agenda, I guess, if it is on the agenda to talk about later. There wouldn't be any decision-making tonight, but further discussion. But I think you're perfectly right, you should feel safe walking around your village.
And then, and I'll be done, you talked about grants, good job. And I've asked before, and not here officially or anything like that, but some people find it silly, but I would absolutely love to see Rouse's Point Champlain Dog Park. A place where licensed dogs who are, could go and socialize. A lot of issues can be resolved if dogs are socialized in an environment where it's safe. They could purchase their tag to go into the dog park through the village office by presenting their rabies vaccination. It could be funded through buying a tag. I've gone to so many dog parks, I'm retired military, and I've been to dog parks all over the country, and people simply go in each year, present your rabies certificate, get a tag for $5, it pays for the poop bags, it pays for the upkeep, you get enough people to attend, And dogs' behavior will improve if they're socialized, it's a fact. And people, it's a community thing, it's not just about the dogs. It's a place for your 84-year-old woman to come in and sit down and talk to their neighbors and everybody to enjoy themselves. And I would love to see that happen. And I've talked about it for a while, and I would even help with that in any way possible. And I think it would be good for the community. And I don't know who I've talked to, but it could help with safety too.
Didn't Rouse's Point just open a dog park?
Yes, they do.
Are you kidding me
Remember-
right now?
I remember
They do,
seeing
it's on
something about
Montgomery
that.
Street.
Rouse's Point just opened one.
Really?
Yes,
Yes.
Behind the rec
Awesome.
center, yeah.
Behind the rec center?
yeah,
That's what I was waiting for.
yeah.
Well, y'all should have interrupted me.
No, you're making very valid points, and I'd like to see one here too, but the
Right.
village just doesn't have the property,
Well, that's,
you know.
that's a good distance
But-
for me. That's, because my boyfriend's been telling me not to walk, I'm sorry, but not to walk in the village, get in my car and go over to Rouse's Point, and I just felt like I shouldn't have to.
But there is one, yeah.
But
There
there
is
is one
one,
there now.
so that's
So
nice.
you can go there,
That's good.
but it's still a great idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it's just
It's
great
not
for everybody to
everyone.
get, I used to go to dog parks, you see the same faces, people get to know each other, it's
Mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it.
Anything else?
We don't, we can let you get on with your board meeting, thanks for.
Well, thank you. It's really
It's
a
nice to see people.
joy to have
smile.
people come to the meetings. Seriously, it is. We really appreciate it. Yep. And you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting too if you want.
Thank you
David's
guys.
already done
Thank
that, so. Yeah. But yeah, they seem to have, the last couple of, meetings, they had track meets, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can, I'll definitely think about like what would be nice for a building like that, like some kind of events that we can have inside of that, the
Yeah.
open gym and stuff like that.
And
Or just
I'll
leave
reach
those.
out. Yeah, you
Sure.
can leave those chairs.
Oh, okay.
We might clean them even more.
A lot of it's advertising, and the only reason I even knew that the food truck was coming back on the 21st, I don't even know if David and I could eat, but that's regardless, was that I was just nosing around to make sure that the meeting was tonight, which I never found when the meeting, I just was like, it is the second Monday, but that's where I saw it, I didn't.
Well,
I
we
don't-
do share everything that the town puts out, I
Yeah.
think, pretty much.
Yeah,
That-
she
Yeah.
usually she sends it to us, or,
Yeah.
she usually sends and asks us.
So
when
just
they're
a
posting
thought,
something.
where would another place of advertising would you see? Cause we run into this at the library too, like where do we put posters or flyers or information
Does
for
Pri-
activities,
does Pri-
like,
Does Price Chopper not allow?
No.
Price
No.
Chopper does
No.
not.
Maybe
I know.
like in the park, cause I'll also advertise like to the kids.
That's a really good
Maybe
idea.
talking
Yeah.
about putting up some kind of.
I would like to
bulletin
get a board that's, got plexiglass that we could
Yeah.
put notices so they would stay dry.
Yeah.
That's a really,
If it's
really great
raining.
idea.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, it's just hard to get around kids destroying stuff,
Right.
and,
Well, if you make it like, maybe if you can get it so it's like a key to open up that type of.
Yeah, that kind, you can, yes, they make that kind
They
that
do,
there's a
yes.
key, yeah. But follow the Town of Champlain Facebook page too, if you don't already, because
They've
they're
been putting
good
a lot
about,
on there. like-
yeah, they've been putting a lot on there, so that's,
I'll try to be more on top of it, how Facebook is, I mean, it's really
Yeah.
weird, you'll go on and then it just like it's almost like
Yeah,
somebody like
I
rolls
know.
a dice and it's like,
What you see is what they want you to see.
yeah, today or in
Yeah.
5 minutes it might be completely
Yeah.
different,
oh yeah,
so
and then if you wanna go back and see it, you can't even find it.
It's
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Right,
4 days later, when you don't, once it's passed, then.
Yeah.
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 Alright, we have a good.
All right,
Yeah.
thank
good
you.
meeting. Thank
Thank
you.
you all. All right, we're on the report from the codes enforcement officer. I do not believe that we got that report unless it,
I didn't see him.
I haven't seen it
I
for 2
will,
meetings.
I will, ask him to submit that to us.
He came in yesterday morning, but he wasn't here very long.
No, he's been really tied up with a couple of other things. All right, so, let's see here, my report. Welcome to this month's village board meeting. Between the summer heat and the heavy rains, the grass is growing quickly around here. I know that several of you, and probably many of you, have complained about people not getting their lawns mowed often enough. The code enforcement officer is aware of this problem, I would just ask you to be patient as residents line up mowing services and tackle their own yards. I know it's pretty hard to keep on top of it right now. The community garden has been tilled and is ready for planting. There are still several plots available. Call the office if you'd like to participate. It's a wonderful opportunity to grow your own vegetables and socialize with others as you garden together. We do have a kayak storage rack, which is located next, near the boat ramp. This allows people to leave their kayaks or canoes there for easy access. You can sign up at the office to use it over the summer, and you must provide your own lock. Here's a quick update on the two big projects that we have underway. We've received bids on the disinfection system and the upgrades at the wastewater treatment plant. That work will begin this summer. And we are continuing to work with our engineers on the water line replacement project, which involves the lines that continue to break and cause boil water orders so frequently. Several activities will be taking place this summer in the village. The farmers market will begin in mid-July, and that is held in Paquette Park. We are always looking for more vendors, so if you would like to participate, there are applications here. We have 2 concerts scheduled, one on July 31st and the other on August 19th. And the annual Village Fest with an old-fashioned ice cream social will be held on August 13th from noon until 3 in Bill Earl Park. Children's events are also taking place at that time. And in addition, many are taking place over the summer, and I'll let Nikki explain those later. And finally, just a reminder that village taxes are due by the end of the month. Thanks to all who continue to make the village of Champlain a good place to live. What's that?
So I saw the envelope, I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah. Reports from the trustees. Chuck?
Well, as you mentioned, the community garden is ready, thanks to the Public Works crew that put the fence back up, and whoever tilled it up, that was nice. Glad to see that it's ready to go, and I think there's 5 plots so far that have people putting their stuff in. I know we mentioned it before, I think we really need to get moving on putting up the new equipment in the playground. Summer's gonna be gone before we know it.
I've talked to Mike about that. It's on the agenda.
We know he has the timbers for the borders and all that, but it's gotta be done.
Yeah.
Do we have to plan about having somebody do it with our playground money?
I did mention that to him. Neither one of us could come up with anyone who we would call. We weren't really sure.
Okay.
But I think it's a good idea. I just am not sure who would do that.
Okay.
And then it's a matter of the, what you put down in
Well, we
between.
have the chips.
Well, you do have the chips?
Yeah, we got a truckload of chips.
Oh,
They're-
okay,
they're
okay, good.
stored right now. They're in a big pile right now, but we do have them.
So it's digging the holes and
It's digging the holes,
cement.
and then
The timber.
we've got the timbers, and then just figuring out how that equipment gets put together.
Okay. I think that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Nikki?
Okay, as Janet mentioned, we do have grant money for, an outdoor classroom, and I've looked up many ideas, so I have plenty to let us go for a couple summers. So I'd like to call it the Garden Series. And I'm thinking, if possible, July 2nd, we can meet at 10 a.m. at the playground, the garden. So families are welcome to come with their kids, and we can start with like a planning session and share our ideas, and at that point I will have the kids help put together a children's garden sign, and maybe do some rock painting at the same time, just get them involved and interested, and I think with having the families come out with ideas too, to see what kind of things they're looking to do. And then we can talk about our ideas and get moving. I'd like this to be every summer type of series.
What time is it?
10,
10?
yeah, July 2nd at 10.
Should we do some bucket gardens to put in the planting
Yes.
in the raised beds?
As a raised, yes, we can do that. Yeah, we could put herbs in one and.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking, even
Yeah.
herbs, flowers,
So,
and
yeah,
maybe
we
some
can get
other
a head
veggies.
start. Yeah, we can get a start on it and go from there. We can,
Did you want those raised beds painted, or you just wanna keep them natural?
They said we can leave them.
Yeah.
I
I was
think
just
they're
asking.
cedar,
are they, okay.
I think they're cedar.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we could leave them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause I do have paint left.
Oh, okay.
I
think would
actually
leave them.
found, I just saw yesterday, so I talked about tires and filling them
Mhm.
with flowers, you know, like zinnias or marigolds or something. But I saw a tire that was painted kind of mosaic looking instead of a black tire sitting there, so that might be something we can, I have a couple tires in the backyard, so.
We can use the paint for it,
Yeah, we can use the paint to paint the tires.
and we still
Yeah.
have to paint our flowers
Yes, I
on
know.
that concrete.
Yes, thank you, Chuck, for doing that. The next, event for the summer are the fun runs, July 10th and 24th, and August 7th and 21st. There'll be 4 runs this summer, those are Sunday evenings, and did we do 4:30? Or
No, I
5?
think it was later, 5, I think.
Okay, so 5:00. Again, if you attend 3 of the 4 runs, you get a t-shirt, you earn a t-shirt, well, the children, sorry, the children earn a t-shirt. Our last one on the 21st will be a potluck picnic at the playground. And the forms are here in the village office, registration forms. I'd like to hold a geocaching introduction again on July 5th at 6 o'clock. And this time it will be in Rouse's Point, so we will meet at the Rouse's Point Pier. And I will explain what the game is, the big scavenger hunt, and there are 5 or 6 of them in Rouse's Point that we can get together as a group and go through and find. Farmers market's coming up, I'd like to have 2 more kids' days, and that's where kids can come and sell their little crafts. We had 3 or 4 last year that had a good turnout. July 16th and August 6th, I'll set those dates as a kids' day.
16th and the 6th.
August 6th, yes. Village Fest, August 13th. Our plan is to have a 5K in the morning and children's games, possibly carnival-like
Mhm.
during the ice cream social. I do have a parent, local village parent who is willing to help with that. And we haven't set a date yet, but we need a couple volunteers to help put up the volleyball net.
Mhm.
So we'll check my calendar and we'll get that date out soon and put that up.
And that's going in which park?
Bill
Earl.
Villa, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Still in the stairway.
Yeah, it is,
Probably, I know, Amy did a good job,
yeah. We'll get that up.
and that is what I have so far for the summer.
So far.
Well,
Good thing you're off in the summer.
I know, well, sort of. I did get some feedback that some families were looking forward to more cooking classes, so.
Oh, I wonder if we could do an outdoor cooking class in our new classroom.
Yes, a garden
Could we-
salad.
Barbecue with a grill? I mean, if the adult was doing it?
Yeah, we could,
I don't know.
That's an idea.
Just an idea. It'd be kind of fun to do a cooking class in the new classroom.
yeah, yes, it would be.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Kim?
So I reached out to Tiffany Garcia, our agent from Northern Insuring, and told her what we were looking for with the glass coverage. She got in touch with their underwriter, and Christine Davis emailed me back currently we have a $500 deductible. To go from $500 to $1,000, we would save $218 annually, $63 on regular auto, and $155 on the heavy equipment. Because I asked for a breakdown as to what it would be. Then if we went from 500 to 2,000, we would save $436 annually, so $125 on auto and $311 on heavy equipment. My thought is the quote that we had to replace the windshield on whatever piece of equipment was damaged was like $1,400, so $1,296.
Well,
So-
13.
So basically, you know, you're gonna spend, even if you go with the lowest one, you'd spend $1,000. So, I can have her, she just put that all in an email, so I can ask her if she wants to send us something that's more of like an insurance
Like a
quote.
quote.
Yeah, okay, I will
Yeah.
email her that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
For a written quote is what I wanted to say. And then she can spell it all out in that, and, when she sends it to me, I'll send it out there.
Okay, yeah, thanks for following up on that.
That's it.
That's it? All right. Report from the clerk treasurer?
What would you like to start with? Everyone has their expense and revenues for the end of the year, which is May 31st. So this is what we ended up with. In our general fund, our expenses versus our revenues was $129,063.75 less. But we had $120,000 in reserves, so our general fund is down $9,063.75 for the year. So,
Just down, not,
just, that's the way we ended our year, we
Okay.
have nothing to hold over, we actually went in, but $9,000 isn't bad.
That's not bad.
No. Our water, our expenses versus our revenues was $50,000. Expenses $50,000 more. The end of the year, we ended up 24,000 less, because we received our $18,000 for the search grant, plus we had $8,500 more for the O&M. So it gave us a little bit more revenue than, so anyway, that one there was 24,000, but we've done a lot with water breaks and
Yeah.
payroll and, which isn't surprising. But our sewer fund, on the other hand, is up $36,000, so we have an extra $36,000 in, which is gonna cost a lot to repair, when we start our repairs, so hopefully that'll, take care of some of the funding that we do have in that sewer fund, which needs to be.
Yeah, and that's without the revenue from the outside people coming in. Okay.
So, I'd say we didn't, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
We're just lucky that we do have, money in our reserves and such to cover costs.
Okay. All right. Next.
Do we wanna do the warrant first, or do we wanna approve these two bills for, we have two bills, Barton and Lejudas for the project.
Well, let's do the warrant first and
Okay,
then do
that's
those.
fine, that's
Yeah.
fine. So the warrant, we have additional invoices. $2,867.75 for a total warrant of $13,869.90, or $869.67.
I have a motion to approve the warrant
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Discussion, questions?
I always feel like again our June warrant is down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cause we
Nice
do
if
that
it was
extra
like
one
that
in
every
May, yeah.
Mhm. Anyone have any questions at all? Roll call?
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Malinsky. Trustee Connor.
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye.
Okay, so we have two, for our projects. One is the water replacement line. The invoice is for $9,854.75 to come out of the project funds.
Is there a motion to pay this out of the water project funds?
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Malinsky.
Aye.
Trustee Connor.
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye.
And we have one to pay out of the wastewater treatment plant, disinfectant for $14,551.78.
A motion for that.
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Questions, discussion? They're a lot further on that part, on that project.
So they're both Barton and Judas?
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
invoices?
Mhm, yeah. Roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Malinsky.
Aye.
Trustee Connor.
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye. All right, report from the superintendent. Mike left his report for us. Why don't I just briefly summarize this just for the record and for the public. Underwater, there was a water leak on Route 9. They cleaned the chlorine injection points and had to change 2 PRV cartridges that failed. Under sewer, there was a homeowner's line that was backed up. Equipment, they serviced the truck, replaced an idler bracket, and the windshield for the loader and pickup are ready to install tomorrow. Under streets, they've put up all the flags and the banners, swept the streets, a little bit of pothole patching, picked up brush, cleaned the drains and some ditches, and started trimming some trees along the streets. And under park, mowing and trimming, the new bench was put on the bike path, the markers were put up for the disc golf, the garden was tilled and the fence put back up. And under miscellaneous, we did hire a temporary worker. He started, I think, last Friday, doing a great job. We'll be starting on culvert replacement or repair and hydrant flushing in early July. So as usual, they've been super busy, and I thank all of them for all their hard work.
Quick question?
Yes?
Are we back at full staff?
No.
No.
No, we should know, in a couple of days. Correspondence?
Correspondence from Jennifer Jewett regarding a dog laws in the village.
Okay. All right, under new business, we have several resolutions. We have a resolution of endorsement for the comprehensive planning grant, so I'll just read through this. Endorsement application for a smart growth comprehensive planning grant to develop a new town and Village of Champlain comprehensive plan. Whereas the Village of Champlain recognizes that a comprehensive plan is the blueprint for a, well, I've got a frog on my throat, community's vision for growth and sustainability and informs the legal framework for land use development policies. Whereas comprehensive plans should be updated every 5 to 10 years. Whereas the Town of Champlain Comprehensive Plan was last updated in 1992, and the Village of Champlain Comprehensive Plan was last updated in 1975. Therefore, an update is long overdue and critically important to ensure that the town and village have a community-supported and coordinated plan for future development policies and resource allocation that incorporates smart growth principles and sustainability practices based on an analysis of existing conditions, projected trends, and strong community engagement. Whereas the town and village of Champlain recognize the benefits and importance of intermunicipal cooperation and coordination of planning and resource allocation, and seek to develop a joint town and village comprehensive plan. And whereas the town and village have identified the New York State Department of State Smart Growth Comprehensive Planning Grant Program as a funding partner to assist with the development of a new intermunicipal town and village comprehensive plan. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Champlain does approve and endorse the Town of Champlain application to the New York State Department of State Smart Growth Comprehensive Planning Grant for an intermunicipal town and village comprehensive plan. Roll call please.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich. Trustee McFetrich. Trustee Malinsky.
Aye.
Trustee Connor.
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye. All
Sorry
right,
about that.
that's fine.
Just get mixed up. I haven't done that in a while.
You have it. All right, thank you. Bid awards for the wastewater plant disinfection and improvements. That is also a resolution. So are you going to have to listen to me read some more? Resolution authorizing the award of contract number 1A, general construction, contract number 1B, electrical construction, contract number 1C, mechanical construction for the Village of Champlain wastewater treatment facility disinfection upgrade and capital improvement plans. Oh wait, I gotta skip the first sentence, it hasn't been adopted yet. Whereas the Village of Champlain is the owner of the Village of Champlain wastewater treatment facility UV disinfection and capital improvement project, and whereas pursuant to New York State municipal law, bids for contract number 1A, general construction, contract number 1B, electrical construction, contract number 1C, mechanical construction were received, publicly opened, and read aloud on May 24th, 2022 at the Village of Champlain office. Whereas the village's engineering consultant Barton and LaJudas, DPC, tabulated and analyzed the bids received, and Paris Excavating Incorporated, Triangle Electrical Systems Incorporated, and Pipeline Mechanical of Plattsburgh LLC submitted the lowest bids for contract number 1A, contract number 1B, and contract number 1C respectively. Whereas B&L provided a letter to the village for all three contracts of the Village of Champlain wastewater treatment facility disinfection upgrade and capital improvements plan, which takes no exception to the village awarding contract number 1A to Paris Excavating Incorporated for the amount of $2,979,000. Contract number 1B to Triangle Electrical Systems Incorporated for the amount of $266,070. Contract number 1C to Pipeline Mechanical of Plattsburgh LLC for the amount of $103,000. Now, therefore, be it resolved that based on the review of bids by B&L, the Village of Champlain Board of Trustees hereby awards contract number 1A, general construction of the Village of Champlain wastewater treatment facility disinfection upgrade and capital improvements plan to Paris Excavating Incorporated for the amount of $2,979,000. Contract number 1B, electrical construction of the Village of Champlain wastewater treatment facility disinfection upgrade and capital improvement plan to Triangle Electrical Systems Incorporated for the amount of $266,070. And contract number 1C, mechanical construction of the Village of Champlain wastewater treatment facility disinfection upgrade and capital improvements plan to Pipeline Mechanical of Plattsburgh LLC for the amount of $103,000. Be it further resolved that the mayor of the Village of Champlain be authorized to execute agreements for all four contracts with the above stated lowest bidders, subject to the submission of bonds and insurances by the lowest bidders, and the review and acceptance of agreements, bonds, and insurances by the village attorney, and all agencies providing funding for the project. let's see, so I need a motion to accept this resolution.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes. I think that's sufficient. Okay, so we will complete that. Subdivision of village land, I'll just fill you in on a situation, it's something that's not it's going to take some exploring to figure this out, if this is even doable, but a business owner in the village has approached us about the possibility of subdividing a small strip of land down by the playground for an additional driveway for his tenants. So we're talking about the building across the street from the meeting house. Downstairs is a storefront, which is becoming a store. And then he has tenants. Currently, they exit their driveway onto Route 9, Main Street. His thought is with the business going in, that's going to be more crowded and it's just harder to exit on a state road. So he would like to we would subdivide and he would purchase a swath of land to exit on Maiden Lane or Church Street Extension, whatever you wanna call that.
I think that's a good idea.
It sounds like it's a very safe
Yeah.
thing to do. I did send a message to our lawyer and he did call me back, but I was gone. I looked at our own subdivision policy, it's pretty involved. And I just asked our lawyer if we would follow the same procedure, which I think we would. And that's all I can tell you about it now, but I also wanted your input on what you think.
I drove by there this afternoon and looked at the, what I think is the area they're talking about. It's hard to tell, but it's right behind where that garage is, correct?
Correct.
And there is, and I don't know if it's a tree,
We just planted.
no, I think there's another one there.
There's a big one there.
There's a big one
No,
there.
there's a smaller one, but it's not the one we just planted,
Okay.
it's closer to the building, but it's a smaller one. That would probably have to be removed,
Okay,
but it's not one that was just planted. I have no problems with that as long as the end cost isn't anything the village would have to absorb. And probably by subdividing, it's not gonna be a cheap endeavor, I don't believe.
the legal costs
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
versus the price to sell it to him.
right,
Okay,
we'd have to recoup our costs at least.
yeah. Well, I'll try to talk to the lawyer tomorrow and maybe get a better sense for what kind of costs we'd be talking about. Okay. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Dog control. So Jennifer did a good job of explaining,
She did, 'cause
the situation that she's been facing and I concur with her.
as a non-dog owner, I would never thought of any of this
Yeah.
as an issue. I mean, I know the dogs in South Street are out there a lot on those chains, but I don't walk the village, so I wouldn't know. But it's good to be aware of it, cause I had no idea that it was that bad,
Yeah,
that often.
yeah, many of us just don't go by those properties,
Which is
just choose not to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do, I just don't walk by those properties anymore, but that's not right.
right.
You should be able to walk anywhere and be safe. I think our code is, it's pretty strict.
It is.
And she made some good suggestions, but again, I think it would be talking to the lawyer, and I think we should see what the town's going to do, because they really are the ones that contract the dog control officer
Right.
who is enforcing these, so.
Right.
Yeah, to me, it really has to be a collaborative effort with them because we can put all of this stuff in our law, but if he's not going to enforce it because it's not, I don't know, driving with what the town has, or, I don't know. I know invisible fence, I've had invisible fence for, I don't even know how many years, well, I'm on my third dog with invisible fencing, so we've had it since we've had our first dog. And we've never had an issue with it. It is a matter of training your dog. You know, like you train your children not to go out in the street and play ball. It's a matter of training your dog. Some dogs are very pig-headed and just will not tolerate, they'll tolerate the shock rather than, and chase something. So again, that's, in my opinion, invisible fence is very productive if the dog is trained properly with it.
Okay.
And I find it a very, I would never on my property wanna have to put a fence up to let my dog out. But again, I've used invisible fence for, I don't know, over 20 years. More than 20 years. But, and we've had very good luck with it. So. And I've never tethered my dog outside. I just, she's the queen of the house basically, so. Anybody who knows me has met our dogs.
Well, she's going to present to the town tomorrow, and then I'll call the supervisor and see, you know, what they're going to do, and then maybe we can work together on this. I do have to say that the dog control officer is, I think he's very, very good. He's good about following up on things. He will do whatever he has to do according to the law. So I'm very pleased with him. Is that it for now? Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what transpires.
Okay, I do have, two additional items that won't take very long. I've got a resolution of commendation, to read, for Richard McGrath, who is, he lives right here in the village, and he, is getting his Eagle Scout Award. Town of Champlain and Village of Champlain Resolution of Commendation to Eagle Scout Richard McGrath. Whereas Richard McGrath, through his diligence and rigorous efforts, has achieved Scouting's highest and most prestigious rank, Eagle Scout, and whereas Boy Scouts of America and its members are dedicated to the development of character and leadership, and whereas this outstanding young man has been involved in Scouting for many years, from Cub Scouts Den 10 through Boy Scouts Troop 8042, obtaining many badges, and whereas Richard McGrath, for his project, secured funding, selected the site, prepared the site, gathered necessary tools and equipment, and installed a bicycle repair station, and whereas this repair station will be available, or it is available for public use, contributes to the development of Bob Ben Park, and will be helpful to cyclists on the Harry J. McManus Northern Tier Recreation Trail. And whereas Richard McGrath's perseverance in rising through the ranks to Eagle Scout is a strong indication of his ability to master difficult tasks and emerge as a leader equipped to meet challenges in today's world. And now therefore be it resolved that on this day, June 26th, this is when it's going to be presented, the Town of Champlain Board and the Village of Champlain Board of Trustees commend Richard McGrath on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout. I have a motion to accept this.
So moved. Second.
Okay, move third, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And then the last thing is the water tank maintenance contract. I don't know if you had time to go through this. I wasn't sure that I'd given you the most recent one, so that's why I gave you a new one. Tom and I had worked on it a little bit, and I was afraid I'd sent you the other one. So you probably have not had time to look through this. I don't know if you looked through the other one and you had any recommendations?
Well, I think we had discussed it a couple times,
Yeah, I had just wanted to make sure that we were added in on some parts about decisions being made. And this is going to be sent to our lawyer next, so we don't need to approve it, but I guess I need your, if you agree that it can be submitted to Tom Renane at this point.
yes.
We're not going to approve anything right now. So anything to add to that?
Yeah, I have a question, I'm just reading
Yeah.
about the insurance, it says the village agrees to share half the cost of insurance on each of the water tanks. Does that mean that, I guess I'm not totally understanding on that one.
We're sharing,
So,
okay, go ahead.
so we pay our insurance,
And that's divided by the EDU charge, it's shared in the O&M. I believe that's part of the cost that you add up in the water plant costs, correct?
the insurance cost, of what, just for the water plant?
Just for the water
Yeah,
plant.
this is the water tanks.
I'm just saying it's being treated similarly, except we're splitting it 50-50, not 60.
So is our water tanks included in our insurance policy? You know what I'm saying, is it separate, something separate? I'm just trying
Well,
to,
they're outside the village.
The
so-
town,
Yeah.
the town
Our
pays for
wastewater-
both of these.
oh, that's right, the town, never mind, I'm thinking, they're both in the,
They're
they're
both
both in the town now.
Right.
Yeah, they're both in
Okay.
the town, it's just since we
I'm
use them
thinking, I
both.
keep thinking of Prospect Street, you know, as being the village and then
Yeah,
the
the
other one
old
is like.
one, right,
Yeah, exactly, not thinking that, you know, the other one is actually in,
yeah.
No, they've been paying the insurance on both of those.
they're both in the town, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
guess
so
I-
we'll just split insurance and routine maintenance, the cleaning and all of that. Okay, so everyone's okay with this? All right. That's all I have under new business, I don't have any old business, does anyone have anything to bring up? A motion to adjourn,
So moved.
in a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I'll let Mary get the camera.
Can you send this